is a surprise.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Ascot on the 7 National Network for the running of the Railway Stakes. The 1,600-metre sprint, rated by most good judges, is one of the toughest sprint races in Australia, and I'm sure Jim Chadwick will agree with that opinion.
Yes, thanks, Peter. Good afternoon to you and everybody throughout Australia who've joined us for today's Railway Stakes, and it's certainly a tough race. And there on the screen there you see Kingston Town being ridden by one of our former top jockeys here in Western Australia, Tiger Moore, a great rider and of course a great horse. And talking about the railway, as I said, it's a really tough race. They go flat out from barrier to post. The weak drop off and the strong keep going. But whatever happens, I'm sure we're in for a tremendous race, Pete.
We are, and Concrete, we assume, will dominate the betting. Let's go down to the ring with Harvey Deegan and Russell Roberts.
Thank you, Peter. Well, plenty of activity down here in the betting ring at Ascot, and most of the money, of course, going on the favourite Concrete. With Russell Roberts, our bookmaker, and no doubt that Concrete will run favourite. Russell, what are some of the prices?
Yes, Concrete's been very heavily supported from 5 to 2 to about 7 to 4. A little bit of 2 to 1 available now, but that is the best on the course.
What about some of the other prices?
Hallpack's Image, very strong support from 10s to 7 about it. Also Jungle Miss from 8s to 7s. There's a good money for Lord Ballinan, money for Rare Flyer, and the other one back to very strongly is Valley of Carome and Prince of Paupers.
But certainly Concrete opened at about 3s on the track early, and it's come in a full point at least.
Yes, I'd say there's been a tremendous amount of money gone on Concrete. The stable must be very, very confident.
No doubt about that at all. Laurie Connell's put his money where his mouth is without any shadow of a doubt. Back to you, Peter.
Yes, the story is that Laurie Connell wanted to get 100,000 on, and he was prepared to take 6 to 4, so I guess we assume he's got it. We'll find out, and we'll be back after this break. So the horses having been led out onto the track by Kingston Town and Tiger Moore, who won this race 32 years ago, in fact, and the first one to talk about Jim Concrete.
His Concrete, of course, as you see on the screen, has had 15 starts for 9 wins and 4 seconds, unplaced only twice. Won the Lee Steer Stakes over 1,500 last Saturday, and Laurie Connell is supremely confident he can get the money, and I understand he's really served it up to the bookies.
Number 13 is Jungle Mist, and she's been all the rage here in Western Australia and has the experience aboard of big race jockey John Miller.
Yes, you've got a bit of favour with Johnny in the saddle. Big races don't affect him. He takes them as any stride, and this horse has got a great record. 9 wins from 14 starts. Won the 1,400 Winterbottom on November the 20th, and 5th behind Hallpack's Image last start. Very, very unlucky on that occasion. And from barrier 3, it's going to be right there throughout the race.
And speaking of Hallpack's Image, it will carry number 2. It's number 2. It'll carry number 12 Saddlecloth, and to be ridden by Alan Hughes.
Yes, Hallpack's Image returned to his best with a great win over 1,400 last Saturday. He's only up half a kilo on that win, and Hallpack's Image, you can be guaranteed he'll be thundering home at the finish.
The first of the Eastern States contingent to talk about, number 1, Lord Ballina, to be ridden by Mick Dittman.
Well, it's got a bit going for it. It's from the powerful Tommy Smith stable, being ridden by top Sydney jockey Mick Dittman. It ran 5th in the Lee Steer last start. Wasn't a bad sort of a run. A very smart Eastern Stater, and at his best form, must ride a real big chance.
A horse, no doubt, that'll have a great deal of interest is the American stallion Kiwi Slave, again from the Eastern States contingent, trained by Colin Hayes, Jim, and ridden by Mick Malyon.
Yes, great names behind its name in Colin Hayes and Mick Malyon, great trainer and great rider respectively. And Kiwi Slave, his 7th in the Lee Steer Stakes last week, was better than it looked as he was blocked on more than one occasion in the straight. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Kiwi Slave right there at the finish.
Number 5 is Coalpack, to be ridden by Albie Smith.
Yes, Coalpack has won 3 starts ago. He scored in good style, and a good last start 3rd. I remember Coalpack when he went to Queensland, his form was excellent when racing against top company, and anywhere near that form, Coalpack must be rated a chance.
One of the others that certainly has got to be rated a chance is Rare Flyer. In fact, it's won the 2nd most stake money of all the horses in the race. Only, in fact, Lord Ballina has won more. Lord Ballina has won 316,000 and Rare Flyer 303,000. Now trained, of course, by Colin Hayes and Dennis Gundry, the jockey.
Well, Rare Flyer 10-1 on the tote here in Western Australia. He put the writing on the wall, I thought, with his great second in the Rothwells, but behind Rant and Rave. But haven't seen much of him since then, but he'll be fully fit because Colin Hayes produces his horses fit on race day. And Dennis Gundry, who's riding on the crest of a wave here in Western Australia, will give it every chance.
Valley of Carome, written by Brendan Clements, is another one of the local hopes that will also carry a fair amount of the locals' money, Jim.
And a very smart jockey, Brendan Clements. He doesn't lack any ability as far as a horseman goes. Valley of Carome, underrated a bit, this horse. It's 10-1 on the Western Australian tote, and it's second behind Concrete in the Lear Steer Stakes. It's an excellent run. Admittedly, Concrete could have won by a lot more, but Valley of Carome to run second behind that horse was a good effort.
And I think certainly the toughest horse in the race is Ulyat. Ulyat, in fact, is trained by John Miller's wife, Kay, and is keeping the riding in the family today. It's in fact going to be ridden by Shane Miller. It started in the Cox Stakes only a couple of days ago. Starts today and will butter up probably as favourite in the Perth Cup.
It's a pretty versatile galloper, Peter. It can race over any journey. It's been going up and down at distances. It's also engaged in the Perth Cup. The distance may be a little bit against it, might be a bit short, but stayers have won this race before. Go back to horses like Blue Spring, who was a stayer and came from last on the home turn to score.
Trained by Frank Maynard is Prince of Paupers, to be ridden by Craig Wake.
Yes, Prince of Paupers, second at Colpack 3 starts ago, and Prince of Paupers must be in the race with a chance. It was working very well. I understand it's been burning the tracks recently.
Well, the horses have got around to the 1,600-metre start point, and you just heard the starter call them up, so they'll be starting to move in for the running of the Railway Stakes, the Swan Brewery Railway Stakes of 1985 over a distance of 1,600 metres. And there are the details about Prince of Paupers, ridden by Craig Wake. The stake money, $200,000, including a trophy valued at $2,000. Of that, $140,000 and the winner. And the trophy rather goes to the winner. Second, $38,000, third, $18,000, and fourth, $4,000. No allowances for apprentices, obviously, in this race. The race record held by the brilliant Mare Eastern Temple of 135.96, which she set in winning this race last year. Who'll win it this year? Well, we're about to find out. The horses are starting to go in, and with his description of the race, here's Jim Chadwick.
Thanks, Peter. Jamorn is in the boxes. Jungle Mist has moved in. There's Keepers. A bit disappointing last start, Keepers, but before that, put up a pretty good effort. And its Eastern Fate form is pretty good. Ulyat's moved into the gates. Ulyat, one of the popular picks for this year's Perth Cup. Another runner in the race, Like a Soldier, has won 2 out of its last 4, and it's a bit of a street corner tip. Big tip around the traps, Like a Soldier. It's a hard race to win, but Concrete, I think, can just about get the money. Kiwi Slave, Mickey Mallion takes it in. Like a Soldier's locked away. Here's the favourite, Concrete, moving into the boxes. Back behind them, Prince of Paupers. And Valley of Carome moving up towards the stalls. Mighty Supremo is locked away. Brendan Clements takes Valley of Carome in. Prince of Paupers locked up. Hallpack's Image. Great win at his last start. Rare Flyer looked a treat on the way to the start. Rare Flyer. It's going to run a big race. In fact, the more you look at this race, I suppose the more you find it hard to select the winner. Concrete deserves to be favourite on his form, but mind you, there are many chances. Kalingri City, it's not out of it. It's a very smart horse, and has won quite a few races here in Western Australia. This race is over in the chute over there at the 1,600, and they're just about hidden by the trees. I can see the boxes, and very hard to tell when the last horse has moved in. But a little bit overcast here in Perth this afternoon, but we haven't had any rain, and the track is in first-class order. A credit to the Western Australian Turf Club, and we've seen some exciting racing here. One of the main events.
Holding by the ear or something?
Hello, there's something going on at the barrier there. It looks as though
it's Lord Ballina, Jim. In fact, Mick Dittman's got off, having trouble with the plate by the looks of it.
You can see more on the monitor than I can see through the binoculars, Peter. I can see some gum trees over
You'll get the better view once the race gets started.
I hope so. Lord Ballina.
Lord Ballina.
Yeah, well,
Lord Ballina.
No, Ballina.
Lord Ballina, yes. They're having an argument over there about how they pronounce the horse's name while they're trying to fix the plate.
Well, Tommy Smith told me it was Lord Ballina, so they're putting this plate on, and Lord Ballina, his last start, 5th, was a good performance. he wasn't very lucky in the running of the race either. Was blocked on a couple of occasions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him right there at the finish. I heard Tommy Smith say this morning that he's a much better horse this time than he was the last trip over. The last trip over, he said he was training off, but this time he's cherry ripe to run the race of his life in the Swan Brewery Railway Stakes.
Concrete just easing a little in the market. They're betting better than 2 to 1 now for punters interested in the WA TAB dividend. Paying about $3.30 for $1 in Perth.
Yes, well, on Railway Stakes Day, Peter, there's usually a lot of punters come and pick their fancies, and like the ordinary punter goes in and has his lucky numbers or lucky colours or favourite jockey. But Laurie Connell's got a real big amount on Concrete, and I say, even though he's lost a bit with the scratching of Fire's-Am and Rattle and Rave's defeat in the Australian Derby, they might give him a chance to get set. Now,
Lord Ballon has gone in, Jim.
Yeah, he's in, and the jockey climbing up into the saddle now. Colpack moves into the stalls.
All right, keep away from him.
Not far away from action. The red light's on. Stand by for a start.
They're all in now, riders.
Set. Gate Spring, they're racing in this year's Railway, and a great start. Jungle Mist began well from Valley of Caroma. Colpack booting around the outside, followed by Jamoin getting up on the rail. They're followed by Ulyat and Like a Soldier. Around them, 4 deep, Rare Flyer. A length and a quarter back to Kiwi Slave with Lord Ballina. Concrete's next, followed by Prince of Paupers. They are followed by White Tiger up on the outside of Mighty Supremo. Hallpack's Image second last, and last Kalingri City. Down the back and inside the 1200, it's Valley of Carome, the leader. It leads 3/4 from Jungle Mist. Running third, Colpack. On the fence in the box seat is Keepers. They're followed by Ulyat, 3 deep to Rare Flyer. Jamoin down on the inside of Concrete, weaving his way through the field. They are followed by Like a Soldier midfield. Back on the fence to Prince of Paupers, booting up hard. They are followed by Lord Ballina, Kiwi Slave around the outside. Further back to Hallpack's Image, Mighty Supremo. White Tiger's second last, and Kalingri City whips them in. Up to the 600 in the Swan Brewery Railway Stakes. It's Valley of Carome in front, leading a length from Jungle Mist. Running third, Ulyat. They're followed back on the fence to Keepers. Colpack on the outside, 1 1/4 to Rare Flyer. Concrete looking for a run. Then came Kiwi Slave, Prince of Paupers and Jamoin. Around the bend for home. Valley of Carome the first for home. Jungle Mist off the fence. Miller's popped at the question. Down the outside, Keepers. Concrete going for a run on the inside. Valley of Carome won't give in. Concrete getting up on the rail. Down the outside, Keepers. Valley of Carome, Concrete and Keepers. Valley of Carome in front. Keepers dived. Tight. Keepers or Valley of Carome. Up close, Concrete, Jungle Mist and Prince of Paupers. Kiwi Slave, Hallpack's Image, Mighty Supremo. Jamoin, Kalingri City. They are followed further back to Rare Flyer and Ulyat. Like a Soldier, further back to Colpack, Lord Ballina and White Tiger last home. Oh, it's a dead set camera. Keepers, he's dived right on the line. May have got Valley of Carome, I don't know, but if I had to have a go, I'd go for him. But here's Valley of Carome in front. Jungle Mist given every chance by John Miller. Off the fence to put in its claim. Concrete's getting up on the rail. And here's Keepers. Down the outside, Morris Lowe riding Keepers. Valley of Carome being ridden for dear life by Brendan Clements, but Keepers diving at it. Concrete over on the fence. They hit the post. Oh boy, this is tight. This is tight. If you're backed either horse, hold on to your tickets.
Well, we had a dead heat in the race just before this, so maybe we're going to get 2 in a row. Another interesting point, Jim, is Morris Lowe got the ride on Keepers only at the last minute.
Yes, replacing Malcolm Pay. But here's another shot of Valley of Carome in front. Concrete's had every chance to run him down over on the inside of Good Enough. Now, Keepers going to Valley of Carome. Has he got there in time? I don't know. Starting to change my mind a bit now, Peter, looking at that replay. Here's the head-on. Valley of Carome being ridden hard. Concrete's over on the fence. Jungle Mist the grey. Keepers is about 7 out off the paint. And at this stage, Valley of Carome and Keepers or Valley of Carome. And definitely
number 6 is, of course, Keepers. Number 16 is Valley of Carome. So all we can do now is wait for the judge.
And he's had no hesitation calling for the photo. Number 16, Valley of Carome has hung on to win the railway. Valley of Carome getting there by an eyelash from number 6, Keepers, Morris Lowe. Valley of Carome ridden by Brendan Clements. Third in the race, number 12, Concrete, ridden by Rod Kemp. after having every chance. Valley of Carome hanging on to win. And by gee, it must have been a tight one, Pete. There wasn't much in it.
Great performance to lead all the way, and a great ride by Brendan Clements.
It was a top ride. He's had it. He's had the fright of his life here. If you go for horses on the outside, you're usually right, but Valley of Carome has hung on to win the railway.
So the official placings: Valley of Carome first, Keepers second, and the hot favourite Concrete third in the Railway Stakes of 1985.